Museum of Latin American Art has a new chief curator named Cecilia Fajardo-Gil. Among her first projects was the installation of a new exhibit on abstract art, something not always associated with Latin American art.
This is the first major exhibition we inaugurated to the public, and basically this museum has never really embraced abstraction as such as a movement in Latin America. And I think my main idea regarding the Museum of Latin American Art and my approach to Latin American art in general is that we need to actually have an overview of all the incredible variety of artistic expressions that Latin America has had, and abstract geometry has been a very, very important one. This exhibition reviews from the 1940s and late 1970s. It was a great as it were movement in many different countries in Latin America, and I think the fact that we are bringing this into the museum is as a way of acknowledging a very important period and a great number of artists that have been extremely important and have been reviewed all over the world as protagonists of very original artistic expressions in the universal art.
For many, little has been known about the full range of Latin American art.
Historically speaking, the thing is, we always say that the canon has been basically constructed first by European art, and then came, North America, and then there was a big exchange there, and then of course he created his own original paths. The thing is, because of mostly economic reasons, the way that the information has been distributed and been seen in the world, there hasn't been so much access to, for example, the academic people in Latin America, to the kind of mainstream, editing, publishing industry and so forth. So what has actually seeped to us were only two great things, which is Mexican muralism and Jesus Soto and Cruz Diez as part of the kinetic movement in the 1960s. But everything else has been somehow erased, and I think it's part because we've created over the years a kind of a stereotype that what is Latin American art has to do with a specific narrative that has to do with political issues and poverty and indigenous things and so forth, and the reality is it does only one small aspect of the history of art in Latin America.
For Fajardo-Gil, the task ahead is to show the many faces of Latin American art.
From my point of view, what we need to do at MOLA at the moment, MOLA has done a good job, but I feel that we need to broaden up even more. For example, abstraction has to be part of the discourse presented at MOLA. Video art has to be presented. Photography has to be presented, installation art, conceptual art. There is a lot of aspects of Latin American art that have not been embraced by the museum. And I feel that we need to work very strongly in producing both academic and scholarly exhibition where we research, we look in the past so that we can understand a little bit better the past and great moments of the art history of Latin America, and then looking at the present. So there is a dialectical relationship between the past and the present constantly. The cutting edge side of Latin America is incredible. More and more institutions in the world, and let's say even in the States, you have MoMA, you have the Museum of Houston, you have Blanton Museum, who are very seriously, Museo del Barrio, considering Latin America, and they're not just separating it from the rest, they're just including it into the mainstream and to a dialogical situation with the rest of the collections and the exhibitions. So we are the only museum specialized in Latin American art. We have a duty to somehow lead the way to present models in which we can discuss and enjoy the art from Latin America without seeing it just as like a separate, parallel path to the rest of the art world. And we're going to very much do that. We would like also, apart from presenting these surveys, we want to bring together the new and the old, and we want to bring the contemporary international with the contemporary Latin American. So we understand that we are part of a whole universe of artistic expressions in the world.